What's going on? It's your boy Sky, checking in on this Tuesday. Raw was last night, but before I get to that, I kind of want to talk about the AEW pay-per-view. Now, me personally, I had the opportunity to go to my local theater and watch the whole pay-per-view on the big screen with some real fans. It was like we were actually there. Shit was amazing. We had like a real live audience in that theater. We were cheering, we were booing. When moments hit, like V triggers and slams and all kind of super kicks, we had reactions. It was fun. It was fun. Rundown of the show real quick. So, Chris Jericho lost to Ricky Starks in a well-fought match. It was kind of slow. You know, good start off. Nothing too major. What else was there? I'm just running it off the top of my head with the matches. I'm going to start from week to kind of the height of the pay-per-view. So the Triple Threats women's match was okay. It wasn't spectacular, but it had its moments. But it's nothing that I would put like higher up on the card for. Jamie Hitter returns. Saraya, aka Paige, and Ruby Riott went against her with the swerve at the end, because Ruby Riott is now with Toni Storm and Saraya, part of that little clique they got. I'm not too really interested in that story though, to be honest. So, it is what it is. Wardlow versus Samoa Joe. That was okay. It was okay. Of course, Wardlow wins like I predicted. You know what I mean? Wardlow wins like I predicted. And he's got to fight Hobbs tomorrow for the TNT title. That's cool. The Guns match. So we had Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, the Guns, The Acclaimed, and Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. Funny match, very funny match. Good funny moments in it, especially when Danhausen was trying to curse that big guy with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. They used to play for the Mavericks. That was hilarious. And then he ended up cursing Sanjay Dutt. The match is kind of entertaining. It was kind of entertaining. It had its close falls and whatever. But the highlight of that match was after the match. The Guns won, and then they called out, they were basically saying they're the best tag team in the world, and, saying nobody could really take the titles from them. They beat everybody. Then FTR comes back. And then FTR comes down, no talking, they're taping up their hands, and they beat the living hell out of the Guns. I mean, beat the shit out of them. It was crazy. But Dax beat the Guns up so bad that he started bleeding. I still don't know how he started bleeding. Shit was wild. So it's good to see FTR back. It's good to see them. Okay, so these next two matches. Oh wait, I forgot about Jungle Boy and Christian in a Buried Alive match, which is so random of a match to have. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so, like, I would never see them in a Buried Alive match. Of course, Jungle Boy won. It was a decent match at that. Jungle Boy won by doing the concerto on Christian, finally finding that evil within himself to do it. And then they put him in a casket and closed the door in a whole little Buried Alive setting with the dirt and everything, like it was Undertaker versus Mankind. But then once they closed the casket door with Christian in it, the whole casket just fell into the ground on some special effects shit. So that was pretty interesting. You know what I mean? That's pretty interesting. Jon Moxley and Adam Page went to war in that Texas Death match. It could have been more grittier, more bloodier. I mean, it was a lot of blood. on Mox's part. Page, he pretty much sweat his blood off. But, you know, there was some spots like the fork in the head. They had like little strips of like black cardboard with barbed wire on it, instead of having a full wooden plank of barbed wire on it, which probably would have been better. They pulled out a chain. They wrapped barbed wire against themselves and used as weapons. Like, yeah, it was pretty brutal. I thought it was gonna be even more brutal, but it was a decent. It was a good match. Moxley won by tapping out because his neck was caught in the chain, while Page was basically choking him from inside the ring. Could have damaged his trachea. So that was, I'm just glad the feud's over, to be honest with you. It was random how it started, and like they was back and forth, but now I'm just glad that it's over. Both of them just need to move on. Now, the two matches that stole the night. First of all, the Young Bucks versus House of Black was the epitome of one of the greatest six-man tag matches of all time. And I mean that. I really mean that. So, God, there was so many V-triggers, so many knees to the face. We had to see Buddy Murphy versus Kenny Omega, which was fire. Malachi Black did his thing with Kenny Omega and the Bucks. Brody King, man. Big Brody flying through the ropes and using his weight as making his weight look lighter than a feather. Like, it was so many spots in that match. Like, I remember one spot where I think it was Nick Jackson. He went to the top and he was doing a moonsault, right? Buddy, in full rotation, like while he jumped, he backflipped off the top. While he was upside down in rotation, Buddy Murphy caught him with a flying knee in midair. I said, yo, woo! And you could just hear that smack. You know, like when you get super kicked or catch a knee, they always got that smack with it, because where they place the microphones or whatever. Man, oh man. That shit was amazing. But I'm glad to see House of Black win that. It was a very good match. 5-star match. House of Black is your new trio's world champions. And honestly, I'm ready to see Kenny Omega give us some more fire single matches. Him versus Buddy Murphy would be fire. Him versus Aleister Black would be fire. Maybe even a feud with Adam Cole. You know, since Adam Cole will be coming back soon. Should be dope. And the Bucks could just go back to being the Bucks. They don't need Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is a god by himself. Just let him be great. Plus, he's the New Japan U.S. champion, right? So he's got that. And with, Forbidden Door coming up in June, you know, he should have a match on there defending his title, probably against Will Ospreay. You know. But, on to the main event. Man, MJF versus Bryan Danielson in a 60-minute Iron Man match was the most entertaining match. Gotta be top 2 Iron Man match of all time. Of course, the first one's Shawn Michaels and Bret at WrestleMania 12. This one is right next to it. Maybe even better. MJF is getting full props now. He is the man. You hear me? Like, we cannot shit on this man. Nobody can shit on MJF anymore. Talk about he's not a real wrestling guy. He can't go the distance. He can't put on a good match. No, he proved everybody wrong with that match he had with Bryan Danielson, and he held up to it. There was so much back and forth, so much drama. I was on the edge of my seat. Everybody in the theater was on the edge of their seat. It was blood. It was technical. It was aggressive. Like, it was a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? It was a little bit of everything. But it was some spots where he was working his heel work. Greatest heel in the business. I think he's over Roman at this point. Went to the crowd, messed with the crowd a little bit. You know, poured a dude's beer out. He even threw water on a little kid. A little black kid at that. Man, yeah, the kid was so upset they had to take the kid to the back to be some AEW superstars. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's really working his heel work. Like, he's getting heat. MJF is the man. He's the man. And, you know, there was spots where he was holding Bryan Danielson's bloody face to the camera, talking to his son and talking to his son and daughter. Excuse me, get tongue twisted. You know, talking about some look at dad. Look at dad. I told you this would happen. You know, mocking him. And Bryan Danielson, of course, you know, he bought it. Of course, we knew he was gonna buy it. I mean, back in Ring of Honor, he was known for having multiple Iron Man matches that sometimes even went to like 70 minutes almost. But it ended when, you know, they both were tied up on classic Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels fashion at the end, where MJF was about to tap, but he held on to the last minute. And then, you know, they had to do sudden death to find out, you know, who's the champion, who's the winner. Because Tony Khan was like, no, I'm not letting that slide. We don't do ties. But, you know, MJF did MJF stuff and hit him with the oxygen tank. And, you know, he put him in the LaBelle lock, and Bryan still was about to get out, and then he just tapped. He tapped from his own move, which got to be salt the wounds for Bryan, for sure. But MJF's walking around talking about he's the best in the world. There was a lot of best in the world talk, which brings me to think that maybe, just maybe, CM Punk is going to show face back in AEW, because there was a lot of best in the world talk. And then MJF mocked CM Punk's media scrum where he was eating the food and he was like, I'm old, I'm tired, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of kids or whatever. That's pretty much, he said the same thing. MJF said the same thing, which makes me to believe that CM Punk is about to come back in AEW and fight MJF. That's what I think is going to happen. Simple and plain. But that was Revolution. It was fun. It was really fun. I loved going to the theater, watching it. You know what I'm saying? It was a very experience. I love being around other wrestling fans that we could cheer with and actually talk about the show afterwards. You know what I'm saying? It was fun. It was fun. So on to tomorrow, we'll see what the the fallout is for Revolution on tomorrow's episode of Dynamite. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was that. Trying to think that I missed anything from AEW. The pre-match was the pre-match was free, so y'all can check that out on YouTube. But other than that, I'm excited for wrestling. We got Mania weekend coming. Mania is on the way, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to do a Raw review here in probably sometime today, so y'all don't miss that. And I'll holler at y'all in the next